Hello everyone, this is Baljinder Rathour, immigration lawyer from London. As you know, we are always trying to innovate and bring you more programs from around the world. And today I'm glad to have Dr. Akande from Antigua, who will be talking us regarding the medical careers, the candidates around the world who are looking forward for degrees as a doctorate or in nursing fields. So we will be focusing our today's talk towards this career. Welcome, Dr. Akande, and just to begin with your introduction.
Thank you very much. My name is Dr. Adedayo Akande, and I serve as the president for the University of Health Sciences Antigua. And so I'm actually joining you now from the island of Antigua and Barbuda. And so our university, we offer several programs. We have the pre-medical sciences program. That is a one-year program designed for high school graduates. And basically that program is designed to allow students, it offers students the foundations of medicine. And those who complete that program are offered guaranteed admission into our Doctor of Medicine program, which is a 4-year degree. And with the Doctor of Medicine program, students spend 2 years in Antigua on our 50-acre campus. And then the remaining 2 years are spent at our clinical sites, which is at our hospitals that we're affiliated with. And we have hospitals in the United States, in Puerto Rico, in Antigua, and even in the United Kingdom. And so after students have completed the Doctor of Medicine program, we confer the MD degree. We also offer a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing program, and that's a 3-year program completed entirely here in Antigua. And of course, students who complete that program are conferred we confer the BSN degree onto students. And our students are actually practicing all over the world. We have students who are in the US, in the UK, Africa. We have Asian students. Our students are representative, I believe, of more than 21 countries in nearly every medical specialty.
That's great to hear. And if I ask about the affiliation, I mean, the degree of doctorate or nursing, from where they get the degree, the affiliation is with your university, or do you have any other awarding bodies?
No, it is our university that confers those degrees.
And those degrees are recognized in the rest of the world.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So our students, once they've graduated from UHSA, they can pretty much practice anywhere. One of the most important things that students need to look at, especially when looking at medical universities, is ensuring that their school is recognized by the ECFMG. And basically the ECFMG, my apologies, is the Education Commission for Foreign Medical Graduates. And that is a governing body that even, they oversee international schools, and schools which are recognized by them, their students are able to be licensed in certain countries, such as the United States. It is also very important to ensure that students choose schools which are listed with the World Health Organization or the Avicenna Directory of Medical Schools, which we have been since the 1980s, actually. And so yeah, and that's one other thing. We're actually one of the oldest medical schools in this region, founded in 1982.
Lovely. So as you mentioned that 2 years in Antigua and 2 years overseas in the United States and UK, that means if they wish to convert after completion of their degree within US or UK, they can carry on working if the hospitals there, they take them on board?
So when students are completing the clerkships, that is part of the academic program. So that's a little different. Once students have graduated, that's when they take the next step and pursue licensing in the country that they're wanting to practice in. So for example, let's just use the United States as an example. So in the US, you must complete the licensing examinations. They're known as the USMLE. And once students have successfully completed that, they must go into a residency, and only then will they be considered licensed physicians. And that's the same with the UK and any country. every country is different. But what the important thing is that the degree that students acquire after completing their medical education with us or their nursing education with us, they can use that degree to pursue the licensing process in whichever country they want to practice in.
And do we have any assistance for licensing in US or UK or any other country after completion of the degree? Do the university assist in that?
The university does in up to a certain point. It is mostly responsibility of the student, but the institution sometimes might be required to offer certain recommendations, etc. But to be honest with you, at that stage, it's really the student. So let's use, again, the US as just a brief example. For example, when some students might go to certain hospitals for their clinical clerkships, oftentimes those particular hospitals might eventually offer those students residency, for example. So it really depends. So, you know, if a student is doing an excellent job at a particular hospital, they might end up.
Absolutely, yeah. That depends upon the capability and the way they cope up with that 2 years of experience with a certain hospital.
Exactly.
And they can continue in the same hospital, or they may look for different offers as well. Coming back to the eligibility criteria, you said the pre-medical. Is there any entrance exam or IELTS or English requirement for international students?
There is not an entrance examination for international students. Now, what I will say is that our program is entirely in English. We do encourage students to submit the TOEFL exam if they have it, but ultimately, our admissions committee, we interview every single student. So usually that's a pretty good gauge on knowing, determining if that student is the quality of English. But no, there isn't an actual entrance examination that we require students to take.
So coming further to the intake, so I think the next is in January, but what are the general intakes in the university?
We have intakes in January, May, and September, and we operate on a rolling admissions basis. So we can students can apply to whichever term they want to start. Mm-hmm.
Excellent. So,
yes.
I mean, yeah, it was a good brief. What about the living cost? If I say student coming from international, what cost they will be having? And do you have your accommodation hostels, or they live outside?
Yeah, we actually, I wish I could walk around with my computer, but we actually do have on-campus accommodations. On campus is usually, we can usually accommodate up to around 60, if I'm not mistaken. I would have to double check, but we do have on-campus accommodations, and we do encourage first-year students or first-year students with UHSA to live on campus, because we do have a beautiful campus, 24/7 security. The majority of students do prefer to be on campus, and the cost does vary. Of course, we have shared living as well as all the way up to single apartments. So shared living, I believe, if not mistaken, is around, I think it was either 15 or 1,800 per person, but all the way up to basically your own one-bedroom apartment, which comes to about 3,800, and that's per term, by the way. That's not per month or anything like that. It's a per term basis.
Term is for how many months?
So the term is for example, January, February, March, April, and then the next in May, and then 4 months for each term.
So that 1,300 or whatever you're mentioning, that is for 4 months, something like that.
That is, yes, exactly. And with the on-campus accommodations, that does include utilities. So for example, electricity, the internet, and gas as well. And then we do have designated off-campus housing, which can vary. It might be a little bit more expensive, but around the same range. And that housing is around 5 minutes from the campus itself. Mm-hmm.
And students do get that international experience, being a global village. If I ask you what different nationality, you mentioned, I think 20 countries, but if you can just highlight so that international student will be more excited that from which different countries they can have their colleagues coming from.
Sure. We have, so within our program right now, and I'm sure there's probably additional, but we have UK students, we have Puerto Rico and US. Puerto Rico, US, I kind of separate them a little bit because Puerto Rico, of course, Spanish. But several islands within our Caribbean region. I think I mentioned United Kingdom. We do have Nigerian students. We also have, now I will say, we're really trying to increase our international student population. And of course, this is why we're even having this conversation. So, but we've also, yeah, so over the years, we've had numerous Indian students. We've had numerous students from Pakistan. We currently have recently graduated some students from Afghanistan. So we have a good.
So, I mean, it will be good. I mean, it will be a mingle of Asian,
African, I tell you,
European, and states students together.
Yeah, one thing I certainly have enjoyed is when, of course, due to COVID, we're limited, so the students are online right now. But when students are on campus, one thing that we love to, we enjoy, is when we have a culture night, and basically we'll encourage students to bring foods or do, it's just a fun night where they just bring a piece of their culture and we all just share everyone else's culture, and it's amazing because it's
yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's something which we love to be when we are working or studying in a multicultural environment.
Yeah.
Dr. Kande, your final word to our international students.
You know what? I guess my final word would have to be that, and I don't want to say the cliche things, which are obvious, like, we are family, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All that stuff is true. But what I would say is that, and a very realistic thing, I would say when students choose UHSA, honestly, one of the things that a lot of international students especially don't realize is that every school in the world, but especially in the region, every school is not the same. So students really should take it upon themselves to educate themselves on the school that they want to study at. Because one of the biggest things that students don't realize is that your university that you graduate from, they will be with you for the rest of your career. We still receive certifications and we are required to write letters of recommendations from students who graduated with us back in the 1980s. So you want to have a university that's going to be there for a long time. You want to have a university that has a good reputation, a university where people are able to continue to support you. That's what you want to choose as far as a medical school or nursing school. All the other stuff, for example, of course, we have a beautiful campus here, safe campus here. You'll love Antigua. Our area is beautiful. However, when you're here to study. So you want to be able to have an environment that we have here, of course. But when you graduate, just know your medical school or your nursing school will follow you. We will be with you for the rest of your career. So that's probably my final word.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Dr. Kande, and we look forward for the future of international.
And we look forward to seeing students here. COVID-19 has been something else. I mean, it's been amazing because, of course, we're having a Zoom meeting here. We've started our academic term online, so our students we're live streaming lectures. It's amazing, but we very much so look forward to seeing students actually on campus and just continuing on the community that we have here. So.
Looking forward. Stay safe and healthy. Thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you so much.